would be the secret piece. And I just wanted to start with giving you a short testimony of my life. I grew up Catholic. I started when I was 5 years old. I got taught all the stories, you know, Adam and Eve, Noah and the ark, Jonah and the whale. I was even told that Jesus Christ died for me, and if I was good enough, I would make it to heaven. So I knew a lot about God, and it was in my childhood that I really was curious about who God was. And I had a love for him. And I knew all about him, but I used to question things. So at 10 years old, I remember being home and thinking, God, if you're this God that loves me, if you're this God that I'm supposed to have access to, then how come I have to go through someone else to get to you? And that really bothered me. I said, I don't really want to do that. So at 10 years old, I was lying in bed, and I said, God, I want to know one day that I can hear you and you can hear me. I want to know one day that I can talk to you and you can talk to me. I want to one day talk to you the way I talk to my friends. And I didn't know at 10 years old that I was asking for a relationship with him. I had no idea. I just knew that that's what was in my heart. So if you fast forward about 11 years, I think I was about 21 years old. I was in a pizza parlor with a friend of mine, and a total stranger who I never met before came over to me and started talking to me about the love of Jesus, and that I know that he died for me, and but I'd like to accept him as Lord and Savior. So immediately I knew that that 10-year-old prayer connected to what this man was telling me. So I said yes, and I was probably 21 years old. I wasn't embarrassed at all. I just bowed my head and prayed for Christ to come into my life. And I left there. I was excited. Life went on as usual. I did everything a 20-year-old person would do. Drinking age was 18, so I was really like doing all that stuff for at least 2 years now. And my life continued. I got married. I had 2 children. I joined a church. We were very, very active in the church. I was a deaconess in the church. I did some counseling for women, visitation, all kinds of stuff. We were really, really involved in the church. And then something changed one day. My whole world pretty much changed. And I just want to say that there comes a point in your life when you know who God is, but then you have to, you know about God, but there's a time when something has to change and you go from knowing about God to knowing God. Yeah. And for me, it was a broken marriage and my family being torn apart. For you, it might be death, it might be sickness, it could be divorce, it could be poverty, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be depression, anger, pornography, it could be any of those things. Anything that has like a grip on you and you don't know what to do about it and you don't know how to get out of it and it just comes on you. And at that point, 2 things can happen. You can go to the left, I'm going to call it, and that's the devil's side, or you can go to the right. And when you go to the left, you give in to all that stuff that you're going through. You give into it, and the voices in your head that are coming from the enemy saying, you're going to do that, that's good, you deserve that, you're going to go that way. That's better, you're going to feel better going that way. But then there's the other side that I'm going to call the right side, and that's God's side. And, you know, the devil prowls around like a lion waiting to devour us. So in that left side, he makes sure that you go that way because he doesn't want you to go the other way, because he knows that if you go that way, something good's going to happen in your life. And for me, the thing that happened was that I went God's way. And the fight was really hard. And God gave me that word secret place, so I ended up looking at some of the verses in the Bible that had secret place in it. And when I looked at it, I noticed that in these verses there were certain coverings. There was protection, there was healing, there was revelation. And I want to just read them to you. I just took out little sections. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to write them down, you can read them later. But they're just little sections where God spoke to me and pointed out the protection and the covering and the revelation. In Psalms 139, I saw his protection. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in my secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. And in this, I thought of the greatest protection that I could think of, because an unborn child is being formed in the mother's womb, and without any medical thing to get the baby out, that baby is 100% totally protected in that womb. There's nobody that can come and get that baby. I mean, there are birds who lay their eggs and they have to worry about other birds coming and eating their babies and taking their babies, but here, you're protected in that secret place. Psalms 27:5, I saw God's covering. From in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion or in his shelter. In the secret place of his tabernacle, he shall hide me. And I thought of the holies of holies and how not anybody could go there. So that secret place is really that covering. We're there in such an intimate place with God when we're in that secret place. Psalms 32:7 says, you are my hiding place. So there I saw the word hiding. God hides us in that secret place. You are my hiding place. You shall preserve me in trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. These are all promises that God says. You know, people might say, well, a man wrote the Bible. I mean, it's not written in red, what I'm saying, but if it's inspired by God and it's Holy Spirit, then it's from God. And he'll surround you in that hiding place, in that secret place. And in Isaiah 45:3, it says, I will give you treasures hidden in dark secret places. And that's the revelation. Because in our darkness and in the worst times in our life, if we do go to that side of God, then we will get answers from God. We will get revelation from God. We will find the treasure that he says is there once we get there. And Proverbs 2:4 says, seek his wisdom like hidden treasure, understand the fear of the Lord, and find knowledge. I'm saying all these just to make a point of how the Bible, speaks of that secret place and how important it is to go into that secret place. Psalms 91:9 says, he who abides in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And again, that's the protection. The word abide is, they describe as not just coming in to visit someone. It's like, packing up your suitcase and your clothes and literally moving in. So when you move in with someone, you really get to know them intimately. And the point I guess I'm trying to make, the biggest point I'm trying to make is all these verses are really nice, and I've been to church where pastors have said stuff, but then I walk away saying, well, that's great, but what steps do I take to get there? And I heard a song, and the words to the song were, I've got you right where I want you. I've got you right where I need you. Welcome back to the place where it used to be, when it was just you and me.
Amen.
And it has to be just you and God.
Yes.
Because in that place of secrecy, I mean, it's called a secret place for a reason. when you go into that secret place with God, there's no one else but Him. It's just you and Him. And it's a place where you're supposed to be vulnerable. It's a place where you pour your heart out and tell Him everything you're feeling. And it's not about picking up the phone and calling your friends and getting advice from them. When I was going through my hard times, I didn't tell my mom and dad how hard it was. I didn't tell my friends how hard it was. And I felt totally alone. And that's right where God wanted me to be. Totally alone. Because, I mean, friends are great, but they have their flesh, and they can give you some information that may not be that side, but that side, and because the devil may be telling them, yeah, tell them that's a good idea, do that. And it's not. So, that secret place, and it's not easy, because in that secret place, I was crying out to God. Like I said, I didn't tell anybody, my family or friends, nothing. I would walk out the door, I'd be happy, and everything was going fine, but then I would come home and I would cry my eyes out, and I would holler at God, I would scream at God, I would say, I don't know what you're doing. Everything that was supposed to be going right was going wrong, even though I was doing all the right things. But I got treasure in that secret place. There's so much treasure in that secret place. And it's not necessarily like, new car and stuff like that. It's the soul, your soul changes. When you go to that secret place, you're never the same again. You don't worry the same way you used to worry. You don't, your faith strengthens. You finally know God, not just know about Him. He becomes everything to you. Your best friend, He becomes everything to you. And you just don't look at life the same way. Things don't matter the way they used to matter. And when troubles come in your life, the devil can't attack you like he used to, because that spirit has grown, like the roots just took hold, and God fixes it, He changes it all. And when you're going through it and the devil whispers in your ear that this is too hard, that's exactly what he wants you to do, because he doesn't want you to get to that place and find the treasure. Because he knows if you get there, your life is going to change. I had a spiritual mother. Her name was Mel. Me and Sharon had the same spiritual mother. And she always used to say to me, you don't know what you have in Jesus until Jesus is all you have. And that's where I was. I was in that secret place, and He was all I had. And He's the only thing you need when you're going through stuff. When you're trying to fight something, you don't need anybody else. You don't need your family, you don't need your friends, you don't need anybody. All you need is Him. And it takes a while, because He says they that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. So you have to wait. Things might not go the way you want them to go, but they will. Eventually they will. And eventually you'll find a treasure hidden in darkness. Because darkness is a deep place to be, but there's treasure in that darkness. If you allow Him to search you and reveal the treasures. And I don't want to be too long. I hope I wasn't too long, but my friend Mo, the one I just spoke about, when she died, she was on her deathbed, and I've never heard anybody say this on their deathbed. She said, where is He? Doesn't He know I'm waiting for Him? And that hit me so hard. I said, wow, that's like a woman waiting for, her date to come and get her, but somebody she's madly in love with. But she had such a relationship with Him, and that she couldn't wait for Him to get her. And she was actually getting annoyed. Where is He? He doesn't know I'm waiting for Him. And I just wanted to leave you with that thought, because that's a beautiful thought to me, to know God that way so much that, He's the love of your life. And I I guess as, you know, we go to communion, I thought about God too, and Jesus, and how that was the worst part in his life down here on earth. We talk about being broken. He was totally broken. And even he went to that secret place to pray to his Father before he was crucified. So, that's it.